Conducting a search warrant on her land discovered something truly gruesome near her home. Susan was brought in for questioning.
Susan, we found a leg by your house.
Appears to be an ankle, foot, knee joint.
A leg? A human leg next to your place. I think it might be Robert.
Don't know.
Who could it be?
No idea.
You think it might be Robert?
I guess I should ask where it was. If it was down there by his trailer.
No. It was right next to your place. Just a few feet from your place.
I don't know then. If it were down by his trailer, he might have fallen down the hill or something. But if it was up at my place, I don't know.
That's it. Do you think it's kind of strange that there's a leg right next to your place?
Very.
Does it concern you?
Yes.
As it would turn out, the leg did belong to Robert, and Susan's explanation of how exactly Robert died is one of the most bizarre stories we've ever heard in an interrogation, only to be topped by what she would claim later on, as you'll soon see. She adamantly denied knowing what happened to Robert and said she hadn't seen him for about a month after he went missing. That is, until the morning she woke up on her farm and headed down to her pig pen.
He was like half eaten. He was...
By what?
By the pigs.
Okay.
He was like half eaten by the pigs. His guts were all over the place. He was still alive. I knew he wasn't going to be alive for more than a few more minutes. I went back up to my house and I got a gun and shot him in the head. Pigs get hungry. If he was out there, I don't know what happened to start with. If he went out and started doing something to them, I can't see that my pigs would go ahead and do something to somebody without cause.
And how did you know he was alive?
I could see his arm moving.
And was he still moaning?
Yeah, it was moaning a little bit.
So what did you do then?
I yelled at the pigs, and they were doing their thing. They're just, having lunch or breakfast. They were having breakfast on him. I didn't think he was going to live more than a few more minutes.
Did he say anything to you?
No, he didn't say anything. He was just moaning.
So, you went back into your house.
I went up and got my rifle and I shot him in the head.
How many times?
I don't know.
More than once?
I don't know.
What follows is the first of Susan's craziest moments during her interrogation.
Where did you shoot him at?
I shot him in the head. I did not look to see where I was shooting him. I just took the rifle and shot.
Was he laying on his back, his side?
On his back.
So, most likely anything would have been like...
I don't know. I didn't look. I saw his guts laying on his back. I knew there was no way for him to be alive more than a couple more minutes. I went up to the house and I got my rifle. I just went like this. I just turned my head and I shot. And then I didn't see any more I didn't see his heart move or any more moaning, and I left.
After shooting Robert, Susan left his body in the pen to be eaten by the pigs before she disposed of his remains by keeping them in bags near where she lived. Given the shocking nature of her bizarre story, She eventually agreed to take a polygraph exam.
Oh. Whatever.
Susan wipes feces off the chair with her hand and then uses her hands to wipe her face with the tissue.
Okay, Susan, just stand up for a second and I'll move that chair just a little bit. I want your arm up here like this, okay? Okay. What's that right there? Is that something on the chair? Or?
No, that's something on me, which I hadn't done in 60 plus years.
Okay.
And that was totally, I think the camera's in that thing there, totally your fault.
She blames another officer, claiming she had to use the restroom hours ago. However, she never is heard asking to use the bathroom and wouldn't have been denied permission.
Okay, Susan, this test is about to begin. Please sit still.
Fine.
Try not to talk. Just answer my questions, yes or no.
Yes.
Do you intend to answer all questions about Robert's death with the truth?
Yes.
Not including this investigation? Have you ever lied to police or any other authority?
No.
Despite being initially willing, Susan made the results unreliable by moving, talking, breathing heavily, and coughing during the exam.
This is hard.
You can't talk.
It's hard to sit still.
Did you injure Robert before the pigs began to eat him?
No.
The polygraph examiner was understandably annoyed with Susan, and his confrontation with her led to her second outburst.
I think you know more than you're telling him about Robert's death, and that's all I'm asking you about.
Yeah.
And you're missing your best chance to tell him now before they either prove it otherwise, or later on you figure out, now I better tell him the truth because I'm facing something serious, and I think you missed your chance. But I gotta go take a break. I'll send someone else in here to talk.
Okay. Yeah,
But you need to tell them the truth. You're leaving stuff out, and you and I know it. You and I know it. It's not subconscious, Susan. You're leaving it out.
I might be, but I really can't.
No, you are. Tell them the whole story. Tell them.
I don't know what else it would be. I just,
Yes, you do.
I found him out in the pen, dying.
Yeah. But what happened before? That's what you're leaving out.
I didn't see him the day until that day.
As horrific as this story is, it soon took another astonishing turn.
There's part of another body.
Okay.
His name is Steve.
But who was Steve? The year before Robert went missing on 2012, 59-year-old Stephen Delacino, also a handyman, had worked on Susan's property. It's unclear exactly when he vanished. If you found Susan's explanation of Robert's death unusual, get ready, because her story about Stephen is somehow even stranger. Susan alleges that Steve stole guns from her and she confronted him about the theft because she wanted to know where they were so she could get them back.
He apparently knew where my little pistol still was because he reached over and grabbed it. We started to have a little tussle, nothing big to start with.
The following explanation is one of the most bizarre and shocking stories we've ever seen in an interrogation.
So you guys are wrestling?
So he grabbed the little pistol and he said that, he doesn't want to go back to jail.
Yeah.
And he decided he was going to kill himself. So he shot himself in the head.
Right there in your home?
Right there. I always thought it was a little bitty gun. It wouldn't kill you, but it would certainly hurt.
Yeah.
And it's 5 shots for crying out loud.
Yeah.
He went out of the room. That was when it got even worse. Okay? And he emptied the gun in his own head. I could not believe it. But it's just a 22 with a little 1-inch barrel. And it was just going boom, boom, and down.
Where did he shoot himself at?
I mean, in the head. He was bleeding after a fashion. He managed to do it, and basically I did the same thing, which, like I say, it doesn't make any damn sense at all why 2 people would end up in my pig pen.
Yeah. So what happened with him in the pig pen?
I did leave him out there for quite a while, until there was practically nothing left.
Like, how long's a while?
I left him there for a couple of weeks.
That's right. 2 different men died on Susan's property, and both of their bodies were fed to her pigs. Though Susan admitted to shooting Robert, she denied she was the reason he ended up in the pen being eaten by her pigs in the first place, and she was adamant she didn't kill Steve. Despite this, she was arrested. Her interrogation continued the next day. Here, Susan has another shocking moment when discussing how she can't control the things she says.
Over there at the jail, one of the girls has got hair all the way down to red. And my stupid brain went into gear, and I told her, hey, I could grab your hair and strangle you with it.
Oh my gosh, why would you say that?
I don't know. It's this thing in here.
Sometimes it just comes out.
It just comes out.
Despite discussing the deaths of 2 men who had been living on her property, Susan shows the most emotion when the detectives tell her that they're going to dig up parts of her property in the search for other possible victims.
I mean, you're making a mess out of my place.
But there's more people out there.
Well,
are we supposed to leave them?
You're saying you are saying you're guaranteeing there's more people out on my property.
Yes, that's.
Am I going to get $150,000 to fix up my place after you've messed it up?
If we find one person, it's worth messing up the property.
I am saying if you do not find anybody out there.
I'm almost positive we're going to.
I'm saying if you do not find anybody out there.
We already know there's 2.
I'm saying if you do not find anybody out there, are you going to pay me $150,000 to put it back the way it was?
No, absolutely not.
That's what I'm saying. There's no guarantee of nothing here.
Well, what do you want?
I don't want you messing up my place after me and Steve have put so much into it.
There's 2 dead people on your property. Are we not supposed to look for more? Obviously, there's probably more. And what are we supposed to do? Just ignore that?
You're saying everything is obvious. I don't know how it's obvious.
It's obvious to me.
So we have...
I sure don't want you digging up my damn dog.
I understand
We know that.
I understand that.
What if there's somebody underneath your dog? What are we supposed to do? I don't want to desecrate your dog's grave. That's special to you. But you have...
That was 15 years ago.
I understand that.
You're saying that for the last 15 years I've been killing people?
No, not at all. I'm saying there could be other dead people on your property. And if you know about it, you better just tell me now.
I don't.
And save us all this, of things that we have to do. We know that there's 2 dead people there. We also know that we don't know how many more there are. So we're going to dig and look until we make sure that we have checked every square inch of that 20 acres and we know for sure there's no one there.
When the interrogator doesn't budge, Susan's hostility escalates.
Well,
the worst is done. If you killed somebody and they're out there, or there's somebody dead out there, they're dead. We can't bring them back.
But see, that you're saying something and you're not backing it up with a damn thing. Are you going to sign a piece of paper saying
what am I supposed to?
If you sign
up with, that I'm going to quit my job.
Yes.
I don't have to.
You just said you would if you didn't find anybody.
I'm just telling you, I don't have to. I'm that confident that there's people out there.
Okay, if you're that confident, sign a piece of paper saying, if I don't find somebody out there, at least one person out there, I'm a quit.
And this is why I don't get you, is when you continue to be
hostile.
Hostile.
Okay.
You continue to put up a fight.
Yes.
Even though the detectives were certain they would find more bodies on Susan's land, in the end, they didn't find any more. In 2015, Susan Monica was found guilty of killing Robert and Steve and sentenced to 2 consecutive 25-year prison terms. totaling in a 50-year sentence with no chance of parole. In our second interrogation case, the intense outburst didn't come from the suspect, but from their family member, as they learned the horrific truth of their loved one's dark deeds. This is 15-year-old Alyssa Bustamante. Just days earlier, her neighbor, 9-year-old Elizabeth Olton, had gone missing in St. Martins, Missouri. Just before she vanished, Elizabeth had been at the Bustamante house, playing with Alyssa's younger sister, Emma.
I don't really know that much about her either.
Tell me what you do know about her.
Okay. She'd come over and swim. She's kind of girly, like not like naturistic, I guess you could say. She can be annoying.
Okay.
They were like, yeah, there's 3 sheriffs there. People were out searching for her. They can't find her.
They just
And
say she's missing.
like, yeah, they were like questioning me about the day. They didn't actually question me that day though, because I went up to go take a shower, and then they just left or something. Remember the guys?
They just told you it was missing.
My grandpa did, yes.
How did that make you feel?
I didn't think it would happen.
Though at the time of this interview there was no sign of the missing little girl, Alyssa had come to the FBI's attention when her diary and its bizarre contents were found. She wrote down her thoughts and feelings like any normal teenage girl, but nothing could prepare the investigators for what else they would find inside. Alyssa had scribbled the words out in blue ink, thinking no one would ever figure out how to read them. Despite her efforts to cover up the entry, investigators were able to read the disturbing original writing. "I just fucking killed someone. I strangled them and slit their throat and stabbed them. Now they're dead. It was amazing. As soon as you get over the oh my god I can't do this feeling, it's pretty enjoyable. I'm kinda nervous and shaky though right now. Okay, I gotta go to church now, LOL." Not only this, but a grave-shaped hole was found in the 60 acres of woods behind the Bustamante house. Alyssa was brought in for interrogation. Because of her age, Alyssa was accompanied by her grandmother Karen, who was sitting in the corner of the room, facing away from the camera. Even before entering the room, because of her diary, the investigators were certain Alyssa was somehow involved in Elizabeth's disappearance.
Have you dug a hole like this before then, or is this the first time?
It's not completely like this, but it's kind of like that.
Okay. So
Big
this,
enough for a shoebox.
okay, but this is the first time of that size.
Yes.
Okay.
But what about the big round ones that I kept falling in? And I mean, they're deep. And I was telling me, did you guys quit doing this? Because they're dangerous. And we used to ride our horses up there, and I could bring back. I mean, they're huge.
Okay.
There's like 3 or 4 of them. Yeah. And this is on our property.
Digging pits for what?
I don't know.
It was entertaining.
From this point onward, there will be a massive shift in Alyssa's demeanor as she realizes the games are over.
Do you think they went through your diary?
If they collected it, then most likely. What? The only thing I can think of is embarrassing things to make fun of me.
Even if you write something down,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. Let's say you write it down in pencil, and then you take a pen and try real hard to scratch it out.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't make it go away.
Okay.
It's still there. Every word, every stroke is still there. We both know what we're talking about here.
Mm-hmm.
If this was an accident, that's fine, but we need the truth. We have to know where she's at. We have to give this family some closure. Is this something that was planned out, or was this just an accident?
After an hour and a half of interrogation, Alyssa finally breaks down and confesses.
It was an accident.
Okay. It's kind of what I thought. Why don't we start with what happened? Did you get home from school at 3:30?
I did.
You got home at 3:30,
Mm-hmm.
and then what happened from there?
I went in the forest. Like I said. And was it there?
Yeah, which one? Was there in the forest?
Yes.
Was she alone?
Yeah. We decided to go hang out because it was a nice day. We were just messing.
Despite Alyssa's show of emotion, this is all a lie.
She fell. She died. I didn't know what to do. So I burned her body.
Again, this is a lie. Alyssa didn't burn her body.
Why did you dig that hole? Was that for her? When did you dig the hole? Dug it ahead of time, didn't you?
I dug that hole on Wednesday.
Before you played with her.
Yes.
First, she states she dug the hole the day of the murder to continue pushing the narrative that it was all just an accident. Then she slips up without even realizing it, stating the truth. The hole was dug on Friday, 5 days prior to the murder. At this point, Alyssa can't even follow her own story. Alyssa admitting to digging the hole before she and Elizabeth hung out establishes premeditation.
It doesn't matter whether the body's burned or not. They'll go through and do an autopsy, and it will discover every injury on her body and cause of death. And I understand you said she fell, and that's why she died. However, they will know from the autopsy if she was shot, if she was hit in the head, if her throat was cut. They will know all of that from the autopsy. So we need to know the truth, because at the end of the autopsy, they will know exactly how she died. How did you kill her?
Why didn't she die?
How did she die? 9-year-old girls don't just die.
We were messing her out. But she fell back and hit her head.
Was her throat cut?
Watch Alyssa's grandmother Karen in the corner. She's about to have one of the most dramatic and emotional meltdowns we've seen in an interrogation.
Yeah. Oh.
Grandma?
Oh my God.
She wants Grandma to leave. I'm not going to ask any questions right now until we get.
Karen had to be removed from the interrogation room, and she does not return. So, what happened that day? Alyssa had lured Elizabeth into the woods as the little girl was on her way home. There, she strangled her, slit her throat, and stabbed her 8 times in the chest. She then buried her body in a hole she had dug 5 days earlier and went back home as though nothing had happened. Immediately after the slaying, Alyssa wrote in her diary, but unfortunately for her, investigators used backlighting to make out what had been written. Ultimately, Alyssa was convicted of second-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison with the chance of parole after the year 2039. Now, with our final case, it's time for some of the most bizarre moments ever in an interrogation. Are you ready? This one is a wild ride from start to finish.
You're listening in on my conversations, aren't you? Camera off. No. I don't care if you're fed or not. I can still twist your little mind. Don't piss me off.
22-year-old Russell Jones found himself in police custody in Medford, Oregon in October of 2017, after he was arrested under the suspicion of conspiracy to commit murder. Russell, along with his friend, 19-year-old Gavin Curtis McFarlane, and Gavin's 15-year-old girlfriend Ellen Rose Fryer, had conspired together to kill Ellen's father, Aaron Fryer. Aaron had been keeping his daughter Ellen away from her boyfriend Gavin, which led to them plotting his murder. The trio had carried out the twisted deed just hours before they were spotted by police, walking a short distance from where they ditched Aaron's car, which they stole after Gavin bludgeoned him to death in his sleep with a baseball bat. After he was arrested, Russell, who sometimes goes by the name Mike, told the police that he ran a protection business, which he claims was how he had become involved in what he described as rescuing Ellen from her father.
Like, I protect people, like I said, but I try not to resort to violence.
Good.
I always try and talk to the person.
Yeah.
Her father is a drunk compared to what she's told me. And I've only talked to him over the phone probably once or twice. He seemed really not that good of a father.
Really? You were very cooperative with us on that last deal.
Except for when the car drove up onto the sidewalk, I was like a little bit startled.
Yeah, surprised, right?
Yeah.
Not too surprised in my line of work.
And then they told me to get on the ground, and I was trying to go on the ground.
Okay.
And they actually helped me onto the ground. So, they told me to get on the ground, so I'm trying to get on the ground. You don't have to push my ass. Seriously, I can do it on my own, damn it.
As you can already see for yourself, as soon as he was brought into the interrogation room, Russell has a rather unique and strange response, and his behavior only becomes more erratic from here on.
No. The cops were nice. Very nice guy. He was actually pretty good too. Maybe I should talk to him more often. No, I ain't no rat.
Russell had numerous encounters with law enforcement leading up to this moment. There are several charges on his record preceding this crime, including sodomy and abuse in the 3rd degree.
I wonder if I can be an undercover agent. Ooh, a really long one. I understand, sir.
We begin to receive small doses of the terrifying truth.
It wasn't really self-defense, so much as it was deepening her.
Because he was essentially monologuing the crime to himself, Russell was left alone by interrogators for an extended period of time. Unlike the other cases of crazy moments that we've seen, which have been the result of the interrogators' tactics and the pressure to confess, Russell being on his own in the room resulted in some of the craziest interrogation moments.
So listen here. Ellie Fryer is my client. My protectee. I would like to see her. Asking. Being polite. I know you're looking directly at me, aren't you? The information I gave is not worth $6. It's worth a lot more.
When he accidentally turns off the recording device, he seems surprised he can do so and begins playing with it.
Red means you can't hear me. Green, you can. Gavin and Ellie are to be released to me because the assault her father did the morning of the incident, defending a female. Now here's the thing. I know the cops' twisted little pathetic rule game. And actually, sometimes I like to think that I invented the rule book. I'm not exactly bragging, but I use reverse psychology, which makes me be able to make you think it's not Gavin, but in fact, your own kid, by reverse psychology, making you look like the lunatic. Gavin was only protecting Ellie. We can play it the easy way or the hard way. I'm talking nice. You got two choices. One, put a bullet through my head, or two, for all the evidence that I gave you guys, right there on a silver platter, right there, down to the last detail.
They were waiting for Aaron, who rested on the living room couch to fall asleep. Eventually, they heard snoring and Gavin began to make his way to the living room. His first attempt to kill Aaron failed when he accidentally kicked a trash can. It was still dark. Aaron woke up and Gavin retreated to Ellen's bedroom, and she pretended she needed to use the restroom. Oblivious to his impending fate, Aaron purportedly said to Ellen, "Stop scaring me with all these people breaking in lately." When the two heard his snoring once more, Ellen handed Gavin an aluminum baseball bat, something Aaron had kept close by for protection, and told Gavin, "Take him out." After Gavin was finished, he sent Ellen a message informing her that it was done. Russell, who had stood outside with a machete for backup, entered the home at that point to assist with transporting Aaron's body.
A whole list, step by step by step. Even a third grader could read how easy that was.
Remember, Russell has been alone this entire time.
For one, Ellie is still technically a minor. You want to play hardball? I played baseball when I was younger. I wouldn't go there. And I know everything that I'm saying is being recorded, and I'm doing it on purpose. I can easily turn the speaker off and rant, and then you guys will come in thinking I'm a loony because you don't hear me. Here's the thing. I'm not the one with the donut fetish. Give a cop a donut, and he'll want a coffee to go with it. Give a mouse a cookie, and he'll want a glass of milk. Give a moose a muffin, and he'll want something else. But here's my favorite one. What is it when a cop car is towed by a tow truck? Pulled pork.
When the officers don't respond to his threats, Russell begins making police jokes and using police stereotypes.
We can either tell pig jokes all day, or we can have a little chat. I'm very, good at convincing people. And I don't even use hypnosis. I think I just said yeah.
Again, Russell speaks to someone who isn't there. This is either a hallucination or vocalized internal dialogue.
So, Ellie is to be handed over to me. As soon as you guys can get her here. 2, Gavin is released.
Russell's rant continues on, and his statements only become more outlandish.
3, all charges are to be dropped, and every recording due to that is to be destroyed. 2 hours. Because I know Gavin has been put in a different holding cell in a different building. Release him, bring him here without handcuffs. You guys can hold on to the goods. I really don't give it. So, we can do this the nice way and we negotiate, or we can do it the hard way and I can release my bipolar.
As the police officers continue to leave him on his own, and he grows increasingly frustrated at their lack of response, Russell's hostility intensifies.
Please send Gavin and Ellie Fryer into this room, please. Thank you. Asking nicely. Scissors and pocket knives are nowhere on me, but my teeth are very sharp as well. I just found the wire that goes into the wall, and I'd really hate to get hurt by a cop. Or is it the other way around? I forget. Who cares anyway? I just saw Gavin go by. Here's the thing. You passed the door. Bring him back.